everyone, I'm Silver. It is actually Saturday, July 13th, but this probably won't go up until Monday. I just want to say a quick hello to all new viewers and an awesome welcome back must go out to all returning viewers. If you did tune in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. So today's show is going to be a little bit different. I have a few special guests in the background today, MTI, lag.com, and also let's welcome back to the show my sister-in-law, Miss Mercury Zelda.
Hi, Silver. Thanks for having me back. It's nice to actually be here in person. It's always better to talk in the same room as opposed to across the Atlantic.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I do love it when you guys come and record with me too. I was like, okay, we need to get at least one recording in, right? I do. Let's see. I have a lot on the show notes. I noticed.
Yeah.
So let's just get started. I am actually drinking a Coca-Cola orange vanilla. It's very interesting. But anyway, let's just grab your drink of choice. You're knitting and crafting, and away we go.
Yes, I am having some cinnamon swirl decaf coffee, which is really tasty.
I can smell it. It's amazing. Oh man. Let's move on to our favorite things. Of course, our visits.
Yes.
Gotta have that on the top of the list.
Well, this is the most important.
Oh man. And since you're here, we did go to my local yarn store.
Yes, we love you, New England yarns.
Oh yes. We pretty much bought the store.
We kind of filled up a table with yarn that we got. So, Silver put that on her Instagram. You guys might have seen it already.
You may have, yeah. And I will put a picture in as we're talking too, so that way you can see the crazy that happened, I guess, so far this weekend.
Our plans are that we're going to have lots of matching projects because we're cute like that. So
of course, we'll have got one started already.
Yes, I'm looking forward to doing mine.
But anyway, if you do want to see all of the yarns that we bought, we did go ahead and already put them in Ravelry. I am Silverluna 2112.
And I'm Mercury Zelda on Ravelry.
Cool. Let me take a quick drink and we'll move on to FOs.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a few, you guys. As a little bit of a warning, I am participating in Stash Dash, so I'm going to be rattling off some numbers. So if you're counting, now would be the time to kind of put that down for a second. Just going to warn you. Because I haven't before, so I probably should start doing that now that everything's getting finished-ish. The first one is what I called SSDGM and F Politeness. This ended up a total of 1,324.8 yards. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. It was almost 3 full skeins. I was a little worried I was going to be running out of yarn. So the yarn that I used on that one was Suburban Stitcher in the sock base, and her triflers need not apply, which is my favorite murder-ism. Mm-hmm. And if you couldn't tell, I did use the My Favorite Murder Mystery Wrap by CC Allman on that one, and size US 3s, which is a 3.25, and a US 4 for the majority of the shawl, and that was a 3.5 millimeter, because Oh yeah, and the other thing that I did manage to finish this since we talked last was what I called Here Kitty Kitty socks. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is 348.3 yards that I got for this Stash Dash. I used the Afterthought Heel Socks pattern by Lala of the Knit Girls. This was basically I knit up a tube and then cut in for the heels, toes, and cuffs on that one. So,
excellent.
Yes, it was so much fun. I hadn't done it before, so I'm like, right, I need to conquer that last little bit there. I used Gail's Art single sock blank, say that 10 times fast, in the Here Kitty Kitty colorway. And for the contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, I used Dreamy Color Smushy in the Torchwood colorway. And since it was a thicker yarn, I did end up using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, on both 9-inch circulars for a majority of the socks, as well as 2 16-inch circulars for the toes, heels, and cuffs. Just more control that way. I don't know.
Yep.
So what this means, you guys, you ready? Here are where the rest of the numbers come in. I have a total of 16,595 yards, or what amounts to 15,174.7 meters.
Dang.
Yes. I will go ahead and I'll put the ticker picture here so that way you guys can look at it because it's pretty. Because why not?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be Silver if I didn't create a ticker every time.
No, it's true.
I have totals. So So what did you end up finishing?
Okay, well, the last time I was on, I had some plans that I was going to do. And, oh my God, I actually knit things. So, actually, I also had a work in progress from last time, which was the Green Dragon Ballerina, which was a shawl, which was beautiful. I made for my friend Ember. And
gorgeous.
I also made her and her wife a few other things. So my first project that I'm going to talk about is Jessie's Sugar and Cream Cowl. The pattern is the cream and sugar cowl from Alana Dakos, and it was really, really pretty. Just kind of sweet cables, and it's just really nice and bright red. I used King Cole Bamboo Cotton 4-ply Poppy, so as you can imagine, quite a bright red.
Yeah.
And I made that on US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. And it actually worked up really quickly. I can recommend it if you're looking for like a quick cowl that actually looks really nice.
I might have that put into my queue as of last night.
Yeah.
Gotta put that out there for any Harry Potter and the House Cup members
Yes.
that listen. Hint, hint.
Quidditch
is upon us. Okay.
I also finished a hat for Ember, and I called it Ember's Pride because I made it in trans pride colors. So the hat pattern is called Chocolate Cake, and it's by Satu Grown. I used Red Heart Baby Steps in 3 colors. I used white, light pink, and light blue because those are the colors of the trans flag. And I used US 6 4.0 millimeter needles for the ribbing and US 8 5.0 millimeter needles for the actual body of the hat.
I saw a picture of that. That was gorgeous.
Thank you. I really liked it because it wasn't just straight stripes. It had the little, chevrons going on, and I really liked that.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to what we're currently working on.
Oh, yes.
Something I cast on since the last time we talked, last night. I'm calling this one Flower Power Spiral.
I will be too.
Yes, but I'm also adding at the very end Silver Style.
Yes.
Why not?
Mine will be Mercury Style.
Yeah. We decided we're going to cast on, was it 3 pairs of socks and use the same project name, but
yes,
with our names on it instead.
Yep. With our matching yarn that we got.
Exactly. The first one, the pattern we're using on this one was the Mystic Spiral Socks by Josh Rakes. Oh, I do. Sort of a knitter, I think, on Instagram and Ravelry, I believe. Mm-hmm. The yarn we're using on this one is the West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in the Wildflower colorway.
Hence Flower Power.
Yeah. And I am using a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter. Knitter's Pride, I think they're cubics. Yeah, cubics.
Yeah.
The 9-inch circulars. I did use a size US 1.5 for the toe, just to get it started. And that actually is mostly worked back and forth to kind of make a diagonal. It's pretty awesome the way it's written.
Great.
The second thing that did get a tiny bit of love, I guess, since the last time we talked, was what I called a Ray of Light. It's a pair of socks for somebody in my family. I won't say who. I don't think they ever listen to the podcast, but just in case. The pattern I use for most of the socks that I gift are the toe-up socks with a difference pattern by Wendy D. Johnson.
I love those.
I love that pattern. Super simple. I love it. I am using Patton's Croy in the Greener Pastures colorway. Oh, I'm jealous, actually.
No.
They're already too big for my feet already. Because they wear a size like 12.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I am using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, also on 9-inch circulars, until I get to the heel flap, I believe. The heel flap part of it. Mm-hmm. And I have to find where I put my 16-inch circulars for that particular one. Oops. Speaking of which, note to future silver. Anyway, the next thing actually that got, I'd say, quite a bit of love, actually, because I'm midway through the heel on this one, is what I called Hermione's Happiest Memory. The pattern I'm using for this one is the Hermione Secret pattern by Kate Johnson. Wow, Kat Johnson. Let's try that again. Basically, this is actually a free pattern on Ravelry. It has the time turner in it.
Yes.
I love it. I am using Desert Vista Dye Works in her Viso base. The colorway is called The Happiest Place on Earth. I am using a size US 1 or a 2.25 millimeter, also on my 9-inch circulars, all the way down into the toes, as is my usual. The next one that got quite I'd say a shit ton of work since the last time I recorded was what I called Fiery Vision. This is the Vision, which I can never pronounce it. This is the Vision by Martina Bam. I am using Apple Tree Knits Plush Fingering, which is actually a lace weight. Thanks, guys, for, mislabeling things. Anyway, in the Firefly colorway, which is a gradient between yellow, orange, and red, because the hat. Anyway.
It's so pretty.
I love it. I used a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter for the garter at the beginning, and then I switched to a size US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter carbons needles on 32-inch cables, I think this one is. Yes, I haven't quite graduated yet. And also, the last thing that I did put a fair amount of love considering on was what I called Stripes Abound. If you remember back, this is the one that I have multiple colorways and I'm kind of pre-planning ahead of time. We'll see how well that goes since I only have a certain amount of yarn per color kind of thing. Anyway, I am using the Granny Stripes pattern by Lucia Baddick 24. And I'm using plenty of different brands, mostly Lion Brand, Pound of Love, Creamsicle, and Bluebell for the main. And then there's other colors too, like whites and things that I'm going to put in later. I am using a size I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter on that one. I love that crochet hook.
And for me, I'm actually currently working on my next fingerless mitts pattern. So I don't have a name just yet, but this is the letter R. So I've got quite a way through my alphabet series, to be honest, going up to R.
I was like, what?
So I'm currently making this up as I go. I'm using a specific stitch from the wonderful knitting stitch dictionary that I always use. And I am using Cascade Yarn Sarasota in grape, and it's very pretty.
It's a nice purple. I'm like staring at it,
Yes.
guys. I'm a little bit distracted. I am not going to lie.
And I'm making these on US 7 4.5 millimeter marbles needles, which I love because they're green.
They're green and they're awesome.
Green's my favorite color. So.
And it's smart of the company too to color coordinate all of their marbles
Yes,
needles.
it makes it so much easier to figure out what size I'm looking for.
Exactly, and at a glance, that's like all you can hope for, really.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to Silver's Unraveling Fast. This section, I don't have anything, but since you had something, right?
Yeah, these current mitts that I'm actually working on, I unraveled the previous version that I started of them because I cast on and they were way too big. Because I tend to make them and figure out the gauge from it afterwards, which, I mean, works for me, but it's a lot more work. I should probably just actually do gauge swatches, but I don't like them. So this is what I do instead.
Not many people do. I mean, I'm lucky if I get like the smallest gauge swatch ever. I'll have to put a picture like here or something to show you guys.
I mean, like, it's kind of funny though. It's like my own pattern. You think, be like, well, duh, make a gauge swatch. But I'm like, it's worked for me so far.
Yeah. I was gonna say, isn't it more fun that way?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Moving on to X's and O's. I really have not put up any posts recently. I've been very, very lazy.
Well, I mean, you've been lazy. You've been doing stash dash.
Well, yeah, but mostly I've kind of been ignoring my writing and other crafting. But it looks like you've got something here.
Yeah, I challenged myself to draw every single day in July, and so far I've been holding on to that. I drew Mr. Mario the cat last night. It's not a very good picture, but I tried to draw him.
Oh, you did a pretty good job.
I'm trying to warm back up to it. I used to draw a lot when I was a kid, and I actually really liked art class and like school and stuff. But you know, I'm in my 30s now, and I just don't draw as much as I want to. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna draw, even if it's just doodles. I'm gonna draw something every day.
Right.
So I'm gonna hope I can keep that up for the rest of the month.
I was gonna say that's a pretty good goal, though.
Thank you.
I don't have anything that lofty for goals for this month besides try to get through as many projects as I can. That's not really a goal, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but whatever.
It's a lifestyle goal.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to Radio GaGa. I have been listening to some music while I've been working on my biggest whip of the week, which was cleaning house top to bottom. Literally. So basically in that vein, I listened to my SSK 2018 playlist, which is not anywhere you can download it. Sorry, guys. I think I just have it on disc now because my new iTunes did not hold on to it.
Oh.
That's neither here nor there. And also, I found out that Mario did not like the second one that I was listening to, which was Blink-182 Dude Ranch, because he went running to hide. But to be fair, though, I had it on blast on the radio that's across the way from us. The speakers are kind of loud. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I have been listening to a lot of podcasts. More specifically, Dumb and Busted, which is a new one for me. It's kind of like a whodunit, but dumbasses. The Women of Harry Potter, Hot and Bothered. That's almost self-explanatory. Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, and That's Why We Drink, and My Favorite Murder. But of course, for you.
Yeah, for me, big surprise, I'm still really into Genesis. I've been getting a few.
This is my shocked face,
I know, right? So I got I got their first album from Genesis to Revelation, which is pretty funny if you listen to it, because it sounds like yes, I can talk. It sounds like Genesis attempting to be the Bee Gees, which actually kind of works, but it doesn't really sound like Genesis as you would think of them as, prog masters or even like 80s pop guys. It's very weird. And then I also got Nursery Crime, which is the first album with Phil Collins and Steve Hackett joining Genesis. Obviously, everyone knows Phil Collins, but Steve Hackett was their guitarist. And he's actually a really talented dude. And I really like Nursery Crime, actually. It was very good. And I also recently got Wind and Wuthering, which is the second album they made after Peter Gabriel left, but while Steve Hackett was still there. I've only listened to the first two songs on that. I listened to that on the plane on the way over from England. And I just was falling asleep, so I turned it off because I didn't want to miss anything.
Gotcha.
So I got to get back into it, but yes. Genesis, as always. Yes. And for podcasts, as usual, I listen to Silver's podcast, and I also listen to Empty Eyes' Divisive Albums podcast. Those are the two podcasts that I listen to. I'm not very podcasty, I guess. But
yeah, I tend to have it on as background noise a lot of the time when I'm working on like all of the things.
No, it's a good idea though. Because I usually just watch like crap TV, like Come Dine With Me and stuff that's not very good. So
right.
I should get into podcasts instead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a good way of resting your eyes from screen time too. That's the only reason why I listen to as many definitely. As I do. I have a lot that I've kind of still backed up on. But whoops. Oh well. Alright, well, let's move on to Silver's book pile. I finished a total of 3 books in the 2 weeks that it's been, guys. Sorry. The first one I finished was Kiss the Dead by Laurel K. Hamilton. The next one in the Anita Blake series. And then I actually started the next one, Affliction. That's taking me longer than I wanted it to read it, but it happens. A lot of the ones where she's talking about like her day job, it's like, like gross details, but yeah. Because she's an FBI agent, whatever thing. So anyway, I digress. Okay, the next book was 28 and a Half Witches. Witches, got it. Okay.
Witches.
The next book that I finished was 28 and a Half Wishes by Denise Grover Swank. And then I also finished Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Menzicalo. I am not going to recommend that book to anyone. It was not as into the behind the scenes of catching Jack the Ripper and like the people that she was suspecting, or it was ridiculous. I mean, yes, it had a twist at the end, but it was still weird. Anyway, the other book that I'm actually currently reading is Echo in the Bone by Dana Gabaldon. I'm literally like 3 pages in. I really have not picked it up much.
Right.
How about you?
Well, since last time I was on, I've finished another Discworld book by Terry Pratchett. I finished The Truth, which is the first one with William DeWord, and he makes a newspaper in Discworld in Ankh-Morpork, and hilarious things happen. And I'm really selling it here, but it is actually a very funny book. And I also read Arriving from Arkansas by Alyssa Keaston, and that is a sweet romance historical fiction. So she comes from Arkansas, and goes in search of a silver mine that her uncle had found, but her uncle passed away. So there's secrets and mysteries, and it's a really, really good book. I recommend it. And I'm currently reading a classic. I'm reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I've never actually read this before, so I've been reading it, and there's lots of twists and turns. I've somehow managed never to see a film adaptation of it either, despite it being, a huge classic. But I've been liking it very much, so See how that continues as things go on.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I read it all the way either. So we're even on that one.
Yeah.
Silver, and in case of the screen time. Now, if you haven't been able to guess, this is where I've been spending a lot of my time, especially while I've been working on the My Favorite Murder Rap and all that, and casting on all of the things that I want to cast on. Anyway, in terms of TV, I have found a new show called A Lie to Die For.
Ooh.
Basically, the case of somebody's life being about a whole lie, and obviously somebody getting murdered for it.
Oh boy.
For figuring it out, yeah. Another show on, I don't even know what network it's on. But anyway, another show that comes on afterward, it's called Buried in the Backyard. Same kind of deal where they use DNA and things like that to figure out who it is and story and all that. Another go-to for me this week has been Stargate SG-1.
Love SG-1.
Have to. Have to. I feel like I'm going to watch the whole series in another week or two. And that will include all of the Atlantis series too. So, screw you, universe. Sorry. I also have been watching a lot of Doctor Who. I ended up finishing up to the end of the David Tennant years and then the Regen, and then I was like, okay, I'm done for now. Just for now. I do usually need to give some time between the emotional, David Tennant goes bye-bye to
hello, Matt Smith.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what they did with the first episode, where he was he's crazy. He learned who he's going to be in the first episode, and you're like, oh my gosh, head blown, mind blown. I mean, the same with Jodie Whittaker too. You don't learn who she's going to be until the very end of the episode of the first one. I'm like, oh, I can't with that. Yeah. And then I watched a lot of the Dead Files is actually new, back for their new season, so that was pretty cool. I've been following their adventures because they've been taking pictures in every city this time around.
Oh, nice.
Well, mostly it's Steve taking pictures of him having a beer with the people at the end of the day.
Of course.
But that's just Steve for you. Anyway, I've also watched a few movies. I don't know why, but I watched the new Beauty and the Beast because that's the millionth. I needed time, something that I didn't need to concentrate on while I was
I understand
knitting the lace and all that. Yeah. Also, Kate and Leopold is also one of those movies for me. Burlesque, just because.
Yeah.
Because why not? And Cher. Hello.
Yes.
I'm not in it for Christina Aguilera. I'm in it for Cher.
No, I'd be in it for Cher too. But I like my old music, so.
Okay. Well, she's awesome. Why not?
Cher's pretty cool.
Yeah. In terms of podcasts, I have been trying to keep up with all the ones that I watch, which is hard to do. I think I'm up to 25.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But anyway, I did watch Unseen Strands. Hi, Mose. I think I got it right this time. The Knitters League, the Geeky Girls Knit podcast, the Knit Girls, Round the Twist, Stockinette Zombies had two since the last time we talked, which was mostly stuff that they recorded before ZK. So way on the ball, guys. Yay. Sorry, I'm just being sarcastic and mean. But anyway. Dramatic Knits had an episode. That's pretty cool. Knit Sense had a couple episodes, which is pretty cool. She's headed to SSK tonight.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's cool. And then Adore Knits. I had a couple episodes, I believe. Mm-hmm. I always like watching her because she's so bubbly and full of energy, and she's kind of from our neck of the woods. So
yes,
not bad. Between your parents' house and here, essentially.
Basically our neck of the woods.
Yeah. Well, the whole New England is our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I did watch a live stream of Gamer Crafting, who's kind of a new podcaster for me to watch. So I was like, okay, I'm going to test her out, see how the two of them do together. And they played a game called Her Story.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It was so odd, but I followed it word for word. And the funny thing is, I was like, I wonder if we can follow which twin is who.
Yeah.
By their swears. And she was like, that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that. Anyway, What have you been watching?
Well, since I've been at home with my parents, my dad is retired, so we tend to watch like old TV all day when I'm not doing stuff. So we watch Newhart, which is like my favorite show. I love the Bob Newhart show and Newhart. They show them like back to back on this TV channel. Decades, that's what the TV channel is called. And I love that. And we also fired up Netflix. My sister has an account, and we were watching some Twilight Zone episodes with my favorite actor, Martin Landau. I love him.
Oh, nice.
I love Martin Landau.
Those are the good ones.
He was a bad guy in both of them, basically. But
he's good at being a bad guy,
he
though.
is. I love him.
You have to be a really good actor or actress to be able to play a bad guy and then follow it up by being a good guy.
Yeah, because he is a good guy in Mission Impossible, you know?
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know. I love him. So, and films, we watched some movies. We watched Stand By Me, which actually was the first time I've ever seen it, which like I know is ridiculous because everyone loves it, and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
Honestly, I've watched so many movies over my lifetime, I can't remember if I watched it or not, so I might
It's like
need
Will
to
Wheaton and River Phoenix and Corey Feldman and Jerry O'Connell. They're the stars of it. And we also watched A Summer Place, which is another classic that was very dramatic, but it was really good. That stars Troy Donahue and Sandra Dee, and it was really good. I recommend A Summer Place. Everybody should watch it.
I definitely should put those on my list to watch, right? But a lot of the time I am watching a lot of shows I've watched millions of times.
Yeah.
Just because it's so much easier than when I'm doing all the like patterning that I'm doing. Because I think I have one stockinette project out of the whole box.
Yeah.
It's literally by my side here, full of stuff, but that's fine. Anyway, I totally digress. Okay, now it is time for the end of the road. So I am pretty social. You can actually find me on our Ravelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland podcast.
Join us.
I'm Silverluna2112 there. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. On Instagram, I am Silver's Treats. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. I do tend to read through all my messages as soon as I possibly can. A quick note, if you have tried to contact me on Instagram via DM, I am sorry. My phone is very freaking old and I cannot see those at all. I can see that they come in, but I can't actually read the messages. So if you don't actually hear back from me, that's why. It's not me ignoring you or anything like that. Just email me directly at silverstreamland@gmail.com and I'll respond really quickly to you because that, for some reason, comes right to my phone. Yay. And as always, everything that we do talk about today actually can be found directly at the show notes at www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com.
So, I'm still at Mercurial Knits on Twitter, and I'm Mercury Zelda on Instagram and Ravelry. You can also find me at www.mercurialknits.com. I've actually been updating my blog when I post a new pattern, and I'm also just putting up updates of what I'm doing this summer. So, I'm trying to actually make sure I update at least once a month. So, I'm getting there. I'm doing better.
Doing better than I am on my blog, let's put it that way.
Thanks again for having me on.
You're welcome. I have so much fun, always. All right, so we have actually rambled on for long enough. We're actually going to go to lunch-ish, kind of early in about an hour, so we got to get ready. Anyway, I know everyone's time is valuable, so please feel free to go ahead and join in any discussion, or you can start your own directly on the Silver Streamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise. So please just go ahead and stay tuned for episode 77 on the 22nd. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye-bye. It's a new best friend. Oh. Hi, Paul. Hi, Maria. Are you performing for the camera now?
Oh, are you just recording it?
Hi. Oh, you are so blissed out right now. I love it. Oh, he's so super chill.